Well, one thing that I've seen both in my professional role and with the USGBC LA Chapter Existing Buildings Committee is really a trend towards more information being available and more information measuring. So the measurement and verification of all sorts of building performance information, like energy usage, water usage, energy down to the individual tenant or system level. And we've seen different regulations that have come out on the state level. AB 1103 has had a so far somewhat limited effect, but it's going to be transformative in that all buildings at the time of their sale or refinancing are going to have their energy use disclosed. And so that is going to hopefully bring a lot of people towards monitoring their energy on an ongoing basis. And as we start to have more information that people are measuring, then there's more information that people can manage. And another trend that we've also seen is just an evolution of standards. So you have the new LEED version 4, which is just rolled out this past fall and is really just coming online now. You've got new versions of Energy Star Portfolio Manager, which also came out last summer, which is the major benchmarking tool provided by the government. And then you've got the Living Building Challenge and other type of standards that are just constantly evolving. So as professionals in this industry, it's really important that we're staying on top of all the latest developments and news. And that's one of the wonderful things that we can do here as the Existing Buildings Committee of the LA chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council, is to provide a monthly newsletter to our members and to all of our constituents that helps to keep them up to date with what's going on and on top of the trends that are happening and hopefully anticipating what's coming down next so they can plan appropriately. I think that one of the great things about an event like today is that we have a diversity of perspectives that come. We have a range of stakeholders that represent so many different pieces of the pie. And so it's interesting in and of itself just to see how many different stakeholders there are, or that diversity of stakeholders, but then also to hear their perspectives. So to hear from an owner's perspective about all this great technology out there that's not being supported is very interesting to hear. And then from the utility side of things, they're saying, we have all this money to give out, why aren't you guys taking it? And to kind of figure out where those disconnects are, what opportunities there are to move forward, and maybe think about how partnerships can be made a little bit more strategic moving forward so that everyone who's trying to work towards the same goals in the long run is actually working together in the immediate term as well. I think there's an increasing trend towards talking and communication. At the same time, there certainly are still hurdles that have to be overcome, and that's one of the wonderful things that the Existing Buildings Committee as a whole committee does, is bring those people together and provide a forum to have those conversations. And then meetings like today, where it really is meant to be an open dialogue, is really extremely important tool. At the same time, I definitely see that there's more and more communication happening and a greater realization that there are many pieces to the puzzle. And so any one individual or one sector is not going to necessarily be able to accomplish all of the goals without working in a complementary fashion with representatives from other sectors. Some of the trends that we're seeing now that we didn't necessarily see 2 years ago are that there's a greater understanding of what it means to operate a green building. And so I think there is a greater adoption of green practices, and in some ways that is in terms of achieving certifications and pursuing standards like LEED and BOMA 360 or in energy benchmarking, but even just kind of incorporating those principles into everyday operations. I see that on a much more wide scale than we have in the past, and I would anticipate that that's only going to continue, particularly in large metropolitan areas like Los Angeles.